everyone, and welcome to the February monthly national report call and also the call of how to make February your month. Thank you everyone for here. I think we have a lot of LCs here, so everyone who hasn't checked in already, please make sure to say the name of your LC so that we can be keeping attendance. I also want to make sure that this call is really interactive, so as I'm asking questions or looking for comments, please feel free to also ask in the chat box. Everyone should be here on the live chat. This is where the call is going to be. And then also so that it can be used for people that can't be here to record for later as well too. The way that this call is going to be working, for everyone that saw the call that happened a month ago for January, it's very similar agenda, but then just looking specifically at what had happened in February and looking forward into March, or now that March has officially started as well. So for this, for the agenda, we will be looking at the national report of how things are working, the local status of certain LCs. We'll be looking at growth of LCs and LCs that are doing a really good job, how to bring rocks back, but specifically the rocks oGV track, and then also things to focus on for March and March priorities as well. So looking nationally, I just wanted to give an overview of how things are doing. So I'll be giving a status of how we're doing in terms of our metrics of open, applied, accepted, and approved. So I'll first be showing the total number that we got during the month of February, and then breaking down for the average number that an LC is getting. At this point, it would be really good for you to have open your the exact number of these things that your LC got, so that you can see if you are ahead or below the average of where LCs are at right now. In the month of February, we got almost 1,700 opens. And so this is on average about 40, every LC gets around 44 opens. So this is something for you to look at to see, is your LC below this or a lot larger than this amount. And then currently we're at a conversion rate of 23% of open to applied. Something that's really kind of cool to note here is this has actually increased significantly since at this time last year. We have always been at a rate of about 10%, but another thing that also happened this month is we grew our contact rate. So we used to contact about 20% of our opens in 24 hours, and now we're at over 85%. So there is a key role that's being played in the contact rate of our opens to the percent that are converting to applied. So that's what that 23% is. And then looking at the number of applicants that we had, so people that applied to opportunities, we had 393, so that's that 23% conversion. Every LC contributed about 10%. So again, look to see if your LC is below or above this in terms of contribution. And then the conversion rate from applied to accepted was 35%. And 41 acceptances during this month. So every LC contributed about 3.7%. And then our acceptance rate was 34%. Looking at the number of approvals that we had 48 approvals ending this month, and every LC contributed about 1.2 approvals. Something to note in this 35% and 35% of applied to accepted and accepted to approved, this number has decreased significantly. A incredibly concerning thing that's happening right now in oGV is that our applied to accepted and accepted to approved conversion is like the lowest it has ever been. So moving forward, I'm going to be focusing a lot on that during this call to kind of confront the brutal facts of what's happening and things that can be focused on as well. So looking at regional standing, I think that this is something important to note when we look at where ICQS is in becoming top 10, but specifically looking at how we're doing in the region. So I'm going to be showing applied, accepted, and approved. And I think that there's some really important things that you guys are going to be finding on this slide too. So when we look at the number of applicants that we've had for this month, ICQS actually stands number 2. So we were number 2 in the entire region in terms of the number of applicants that we got. Typically, actually, the entities that are on top are Brazil and Colombia. So it was really cool actually to see that ICQS is number 2. But something that is very interesting is Canada is creeping up and actually doing significantly more than the rest of the region. So about double of what we've done so far. So if only we were like number 2 or number 1 in the region for accepted to approved, we would be doing an incredible job right now. However, that's not the case. So looking at acceptance, as you can still see, Canada is number 1, and the US did downgrade from being ranked number 2 in applied. Right here, we're now ranked number 4 in accepted. So it's already showing that we're one of the weakest entities when it comes to the ability to convert from applied to accepted. And that's also the case for approved. So we're then ranked number 5 when it comes to the amount of approvals that we had. So across the board, there's something that we need to be focusing on. And when we look to compare ourselves to other entities, as you can see here, Canada is number 1. This has like almost never happened before. I've never seen it where Brazil is not number 1 in approvals for a month in the Americas. So it's actually really, really incredible that Isaac Canada was able to not only beat Brazil, but like grow significantly and do something more significantly. So moving forward, a lot of the things that we're showing and talking about is modeled after Canada, because I think that this is not just an entity that we can look at, but a market that we can look at too, of how is it that they are working in a market that's quite similar to ours, and also having I think like maybe 10 less LCs than we have as well too, because this is kind of what we wanted to do a lot for this month, what Canada did, but we weren't able to. So look, moving forward, we know that that's something that we need to be focusing on. So what I'm showing next is planned versus achieved for applied, accepted, and approved. Again, this is what we have for national planned and national plan for these metrics. The number for every LC is higher for every single one of these. So LCs actually plan to have more applicants and approvals than what the MC did. But what I'm showing here is what the MC has. So what we planned for the month was to have 900 applicants. We got 390. So we have a gap of about 510, which is concerning for us going into the month of March. So we're at a performance rate of 43%. We had a goal of 300 for accepted, a gap of 153. So we're at a performance rate of 49% achievement of our goal for accepted. And the one that is the most concerning is this approval number. We needed to get to 200 approvals to equal to that 1,200 national number in order to get to the top 10. But we have now a incredible gap of 152 approvals that we had for the month of February. So again, if you add up how was this for your LC, it's going to equal a lot more than what we have planned for the goal. So look to see for your LC itself, what is your gap that you have for your goal achievement as well. As you can see on here, we were doing a little bit better in terms of goal achievement for applicants, and then it just went down for approval. So not only are we not achieving our goal, but we are decreasing in the conversion, the pessimistic conversion rate that we had planned nationally. So looking at growth as well for applied, accepted, and approved, I'm going to be comparing what happened during February of 2016 to February of 2017. So in February 2016, we had 176 applicants. This month, we had 390. So we had a relative growth of 122%. I'm constantly looking at this to make sure that we always end the month with over 100% growth because we're looking for like 300% growth to be ending the term with. So we need to have like a minimum of 100%. So that's really nice that we were able to see that for this month. Looking at acceptances, the absolute growth is not correct here, but the relative growth is 131%. So as well, really nice that we're still continuing to have 100% growth. And then for this approval rate, this is what's the most concerning. In February 2016, we had 30 approvals. We ended this month with 48 approvals on here. So we have a relative growth of under 100%, which is at 60% as well. We've grown 100% growth in approvals since September. So this is the first month that we didn't have that. So that's concerning going into March. And as well, it's the same thing that last year at this time, we were doing a lot better job at converting because you can see the amount of relative growth that we have is decreasing around this time. So again, conversion is one of the most important things that we need to be looking at. So next, I want to be showing locally how we're doing. So now that you're able to get to the national scale of things, what are the LCs that are contributing to this, and what are the LCs that are growing the most, and so on. So what I wanted to show first is the top LCs, looking at top LCs for applicants, for acceptance and approval, and then also using our OD model to be able to segment LCs in terms of how performance is going right now. So what we have next is the exact number that we have for applicants during this month. So looking at first with applicants, one of the top LCs, I didn't see that USC was on this call, but congratulations to USC for being top this month in expansions. They just started the program this year, so it's really, really amazing. This all kind of happened last week, right after West Coast Rock, so I'm really, really excited that they were able to end the month being the top LC. For anyone that's an expansion here, give like a hoot and holler in the chat box for USC now being on top of the expansions. It's really great. And then Missouri, Milwaukee, and Minnesota, congrats to the Rowdies for getting 10 applicants this month. And a lot of them came in the last part of the month as well, too. For Tier 1, congratulations to Isaac Yale for yet again being the top LC in applicants this month, ending with 29. So average to at least one applicant a day. So that's really, really incredible. And then other LCs that also did a really good job. Shout out to Michigan, Austin, and Denver for the 19 and 16 applicants that they got as well too. Looking into Tier 2, something really important to note here is the Tier 1 and Tier 2 performance is about the same. It should actually be a lot more applicants that we're having for Tier 2, but they're not actually performing at a higher rate. It's very similar Tier 2 and Tier 1 right now. So shout out to San Diego, even though they're in expansion, they also are a Tier 2 LC for ending this month with that 28. I think in the last week, Isaac San Diego got 21 approvals, so shout out to them for doing a lot in 1 week. Also, UGA and Madison for getting 24 and 25 applicants as well too. Then looking at the acceptance rate. So these are the LCs that we can tell have a really good marketing strategy right now and are working really well when it comes to lead nurturing from open to applicants, but the numbers do look a little bit different when we look at the acceptance on here. So for LCs with the top number of acceptances, we have Milwaukee, Missouri, and Minnesota that are the top 4 expansions when it comes to acceptances. So congratulations also to the Rowdies again for being able to be top in terms of expansions. Also, when we look at Tier 1, you can see Yale is on top again and averaging from those 29 applicants, able to get about 11 of them to be accepted. And then also Rocky Mountain High, Denver, and Colorado are also being showcased here for the acceptances that you guys have, 10 and 7 respectively. And then also shout out to Austin and Illinois for getting these 7 acceptances as well. In Illinois, special shout out because I know those happened in the last couple of days of the month. So shout out to you guys. And then as you can also see here, Tier 2 is performing at a lower rate than what our Tier 1s are. So as you can see here, UGA, Madison, and New York City, relatively similar numbers in terms of the acceptance rate from the number of applicants that were there. So now we get to see the most exciting one, the number of approvals and the LCs that are on top in terms of the approvals that we have. So congratulations to Minnesota for being the only expansion that got more than 1 approval this month. I'm really, really excited for you guys for getting those 2 approvals this month. And I think most of them were IXPs, so that's really, really incredible. Also for Tier 1, congratulations to Isaac Yale for getting 9 approvals this month. That was like more than had happened in the entire summer peak last year, and we're all able to get it in 1 month. So congratulations there. Also, Texas A&M and Austin for getting these 5 and 4 approvals, specifically for these 2 LCs with the amount of approvals that you got. Texas A&M and Austin jumped tier this month into Tier 2. So congratulations to you guys. Shout out for being able to jump into that tier. And also Colorado for getting 4 approvals this month as well, too. That's really, really incredible to be able to convert that amount. And then Tier 2s, congratulations to UGA, Miami, Madison, and San Diego for getting more than 1 approval this month. So now what I want to be showing is the conversion rates that we have and which LCs are converting the top amount. What you can see on here is the LCs that are not just like performing the highest are also the ones that have the top number of conversions right now too. And these are the LCs that you can speak to of how to be focusing and doing better. So currently, since 36% is our conversion rate nationally of applied to accepted, you can see on here the LCs that are having more than 50% of their applicants accepted. As you can see on here, almost all of these LCs were ones that were also showcased. So we can see that it's proven that if you can convert the most number of applicants to accepted, that this is going to be helping with your growth. However, since our national rate is at 36%, this means that most LCs are not at this level. So really look at where your LC is at right now for February, and we'll be talking a little bit later on how to focus on this. When we look at the acceptance rate as well too, our national rate from accepted to approved is 34%, but you can see the LCs that are doing a really incredible job on here are approving their EPs pretty quickly and as soon as they are accepted as well too. So these are the things that you should aim for, and what I'm going to have in a couple of slides are the things that these particular LCs are doing in order to get to those conversion rates. So what I have on here are hacks that you can be doing for applied to accepted. So this is something that if you don't already have, make sure to take out a pen and paper and then write down some of these things. These are not huge things that you can be like huge strategies that are going to change the way your LC is operating, but they are going to be hacks that are going to make sure that you can convert as many EPs in the quickest way as possible. These hacks are taken from the LCP oGV hackathon of rocks, as well as the hacks that members created during the oGV space. And the third thing, what LCs are doing that are having the best conversion rates right now. If we have any LCs that are currently doing these things, when I mention them, just say something about them in the chat box if there's something else that needs to be added as well. So in order to get your EPs applied, remember, or to your EPs accepted, remember we have we're number 2 in the region right now when it comes to the number of applicants, but the next thing we need to look at is the number of acceptances. The thing when it comes to acceptances is this is a huge part of IR management. We have LCs that are finally now having really good IR partners and actually having like LC partnerships that they're managing. So your acceptance rate is like highly dependent on how good your relationship with your IR partner is. So first thing is set a goal of under 48 hours for your IR partner to accept EPs. You should have already had your introductory call and some maintenance calls with your IR partner, but the call that you need to be having next is setting into place a system for how can it be when an EP applies that they're going to get accepted within 48 hours. Second thing, immediately contact the OP manager when an EP applies. So this should be for when your EPs are applying to the entity partners that you're working with, but even for the ones that they're applying that aren't your local entity partners or are not our national entity partners, you still need to be immediately contacting the opportunity manager to set up a meeting. A lot of the conversations that I had with members at Rocks is they were really surprised or had mentioned to me that they usually just have their EPs apply and wait for the opportunity manager to accept them, or just wait for their EP to accept them. But it's really, really important that you're so much more proactive when it comes to getting those acceptances. The third thing is make sure that you have a WhatsApp group. I'm going to give you the list of groups that you should be having, or list of parties that you should be having these WhatsApp groups with. It's really, really important when it comes to just doing things fast and just making sure that things aren't, like daily things aren't going to be the bottleneck for this. So something that I recommend is to have a WhatsApp group with the LCPs of like the sending and host entity. So for you guys and for your entity partner, plus the VP oGV and VP IGV, that's a way for like when someone's not responding, you can just make sure that the leadership body of this partnership are working towards making this happen. The second thing is to have a WhatsApp group with the oGV and IGV team, so that that's an additional accountability and tool that you can be working to make this happen. I actually know that there's a lot of LCs that started to do this, and they were seeing immediate results in terms of the number of acceptances that they were having. Create a book me so interviews are set up when an EP applies. So work with your entity partner and say, hey, like send me your book me, and then as soon as I have an EP apply, I'll also have them apply to an interview the next day. So this is also a really quick way. So if they apply on a Monday, then on Tuesday they'll be having their interview. This is something that's really important in the US market, as EPs do want to be moving really fast, and EPs, once they apply to something, you don't want them to start looking at other opportunities outside going on a GV. So if you can get them interviewed as soon as they apply, then that's really good. As well, having super days for EPs to apply and then for the interviews to happen simultaneously. So you should be having something that Isaac Yale is doing right now is having super days that happen at least weekly. And then at the same time, the hosting entity where you're sending the EPs to, they're online and ready to interview your EPs so that they can apply and then interview at the exact same time. So this is a good case practice of a logistical thing that you can be setting up for your EPs to be doing. When we look at the acceptance to approval hack, so the most important thing that needs to happen here is recognizing that a lot of sales needs to happen and that you need to be communicating still with the EP so that they can officially become a customer at this point. They've already had contact with the IGV team, and now is just the point that they need to actually go through a lot of logistical things in order to actually get approved. So the first thing is to do an expectation setting during the application process. So as soon as an EP starts applying, you're already communicating with them and saying that, hey, as soon as you apply, you're going to get approved in under 1 week. As long as you can communicate the urgency, but still sell the value proposition at the same time of how important this is, of how a GV opportunity or GV experience looks, and they're going to be okay if you set that up, the expectation with them that it's going to happen in 1 week. So that you say, okay, as soon as you're accepted, then you're going to have 5 days in order to get approved so that they know from the beginning that these are the things that they need to be doing. The other thing is be really transparent with your EPs of the steps that they need to take. So as you're setting the expectations with them, you need to say, okay, so once you get accepted, you have to make payment. You're going to have to sign something that's called an acceptance note. You're going to have to take a assessment as well about your leadership. So especially when it comes to payment, that's one of the biggest things that's holding EPs back. So make sure that as they're starting the application process, they're already thinking about how they're going to find the money and so on in order to do this. The third thing is have one meeting, one physical meeting where the EP can do all of this. If you're doing these things virtually, it could take a longer time. So if you have one meeting once the EP gets accepted, so congratulate them that they've been accepted to a GV opportunity, and then meet with them the next day to have them sign their AN, make the payment, and take the leadership development assessment. Those are the 3 things that an EP needs to do in order to be approved. So then you from there are able to then focus on that you approve them, and then the IGV team and opportunity manager approves them as well, so that you can have the approval. The other big thing to focus on is don't stop selling. I think something that happens a lot at this stage is it then just gets like too logistical and too process oriented, which is really important, but at the same time forgetting to sell the importance of this. So as an EP is figuring out how to find the money in order to pay, you still need to be selling the importance of this. So you're not just having a meeting where you say, hey EP, I need you to sign the AN. You're also going to talk to them about the SDGs, and they're going to listen to music of the country that they're going to. Like all of these things that are really important to convince them to be approved to make this decision and to make the payment. The next thing I want to talk about is how you can bring rocks back to your LC. So we had a lot of members that were able to attend rocks, and we had some really cool sessions for them to be looking at and for them to be learning a lot of things. But there's a couple of things that I want to mention of how you can capitalize on the momentum of your oGV members. So the first things, have your members deliver a session using the output. So during the oGV FTMs that you guys are having this week, this is a great space for members to be explaining and teaching the members that weren't there what actually happened at Rocks and in the oGV track. You can be simulating really similar things that they were able to learn, and it's a really good leadership opportunity for the oGV members to be doing that. The second thing is to keep them accountable to the individual plans that they created. Something that the delegates did in the oGV track is they had one paper. They had to write down what was their contribution in terms of realizations, and what is their contribution for the month of March, and what are the things that they have to do daily in order to get this to happen. So they shouldn't have thrown this away or put it in the trash. This is something that if you have an LC office, you're going to put it up. They should be coming to the FTM with these papers. The FASIs were only able to do so much in terms of their individual planning. Your focus is then on the execution of these plans. So don't just let this be this thing that they do at a conference that they then forget. Have it be a way for them to move forward with executing the plans that they created as well. The third thing is to implement the growth hacks that were in the LC. Every single member was writing down, and also LCPs that were in the oGV hackathon space. The ones that I already mentioned before, but as well, they had a lot of really cool ideas. So these are the VPs. You need to have this conversation with your members of what were the things that were mentioned when the oGV Rock SPACI asked you to have a processing time in 5 days, for example. So all of those things, they have created the notes for that, and you need to move forward of how can you implement these things in your LC. The fourth and final thing to look at is what's the education that's next needed for the delegates that attended and also for the oGV team. And one of the most important things to look at is you need to have education that's focused on sales. Going into this month, as conversion is the biggest thing that we're looking at, most of your EPs are entering the consideration phase. The consideration phase is how do you actually sell to this person. So create simulations, have them still recognize the value proposition, know the steps that need to be taken, and have them actually have experiential learning when it comes to actually selling to EPs. So looking at things to focus on for the month of March, what I'd actually like to happen is I'm going to have a couple questions for you guys. And then when I ask one question, I need at least 3 people to respond with some of the ideas that you already have in your LC. So first focus is better marketing. A lot of LCs are already having a increased performance when it comes to marketing. Now the focus is on evolving your marketing to make it better. So to make it better in terms of what you're physically doing, what you're digitally doing, and how you're actually nurturing people through the process. So I need at least 3 people to respond to this question so that we can have some interaction here. How can you make your physical marketing more interactive? Okay, Alonzo said food. I think something really important to look at that some LCs are doing is if you're having things like tabling, then you need to make that table look like that country. It's in very interactive way for you to have music, food, pictures, and all of those things. Games and activities is also really important. Yes, music. Okay, Miami also has a board that has pictures behind with a story of one of our IXPs. You can email every professor on campus based on the department to tell them about ISIC. What are other things that you can do to make it interactive? Not just tabling, but looking at your classroom shouts that you're doing or personal networks that you have. How can you make this more interactive? Okay, awesome. We have a tracking system and everyone has to do 30 minutes of marketing every day. Awesome, Colorado. Okay, so these are all good case practices of things that you can be doing in your LC. Write these down and then immediately after the call, put into place the plan that you need to do in order to execute that. So the focus is making physical marketing interactive. This is something that through attending LC visits or talking to members, the biggest thing that was lacking was interaction. For instance, at a lot of tabling events, it just becomes really pushy of going up to customers and just trying to convince them to go abroad. There needs to be something where they come to you, some level of interaction where they're going to say, hey, that's really exciting, and then actually come to you in order to communicate with you so you're not pushing customers. Second thing, how can you use digital marketing to complement your physical marketing? So let's hear a couple of answers here. Cool, great idea. Send a Snapchat about tabling for everyone that would follow your LC on Snapchat. Yes, Lucy, this is great. Lucy from Chapel Hill, follow-up emails after tabling, Facebook events to promote info sessions. So something that's really important is you cannot just have physical marketing and you cannot just have digital marketing. If you do a physical event, you need to follow up with a digital event. Yale says, make sure you deliver the same message physically and digitally. Exactly. And I think this is actually something that's contributing a lot to Yale right now is every single message that's being said is the country that they should be going to. All of their applicants right now are going to the country that they're promoting. Milwaukee says, we've been working to align our Facebook posts with our flyers, posters, and banners, same layout, same colors, etc. Awesome. Weekly newsletters so that people can constantly see the name ISIC. We have a lecture slide that we send to every professor. Awesome. So look at what are these things that as soon as you do a physical event or as soon as you reach out to someone, what are the things that you have to do immediately after that? If you have classroom shouts, once you do the lead capture, there needs to be something immediately sent to those people. 24 hours is not enough. It needs to be within the hour that you get these lead capture of people, and the person who's doing the classroom shout is responsible for contacting these people. You need to kind of have a yin and yang when it comes to your physical marketing and with your digital marketing. They need to be happening at the same time. Our customers are millennials. Third question, how can you generate more hot leads for marketing? So what are the other things that you can do to get people that already know about ISIC that would be interested in going abroad, as these are the people that are likely to approve faster. So what are the closer interactions that you can have with people? Let's get a couple answers on this. So this is looking at friends, looking at IXP, looking at people that have interacted with ISIC in the past. Yep, Milwaukee said we're working with student orgs. Just to share this as a GCP that's starting to appear from Milwaukee, they're approaching fraternities right now to try to reserve spots for a certain amount of people because they already have philanthropy that's in the organization. So reserving spots for a certain amount of people to go abroad with the same project so that it's a social aspect that they can all have that with each other. Okay, Georgia Tech says, reapproach old opens from last spring that may not have had a reason to go abroad in 2016 that might open for summer 2017. Yes, awesome. You should have a calling day with the entire oGV team where people can already start to apply and be approved that were interested in this last year. Give them a phone number so that they can just shoot you a text. Awesome. People who applied to join ISIC in the past. Yes, Lucy, this is amazing. Look at the people that looked to join ISIC in the past, as well as the people that tried to join your LC that you did not accept. This is a really, really good idea and thing that you should be looking at and having synergy and conversations with the talent management team to immediately approach those people. Because if they had some interest in joining it as an organization, they also have interest in actually going abroad. Okay, Yale says, look at the statistics from university to see which majors usually go abroad to do targeted marketing. That's also a really good statistic. If you can't find that from your website, I'm sure you can make a phone call to the university study abroad office to do that. Okay, so these are some of the amazing tactics that you guys are already doing and creating to have better marketing. So reminder, look at how you can make your physical marketing interactive rather than pushy. Look at how you can have your digital marketing complement your physical marketing and looking at ways that you can generate more hot leads. Something that actually hasn't been mentioned in the past is using friends, using IXP. These are the things that are going to be able to get you quick approvals because they're focused on people that already have a relationship with the people that are trying to generate leads. So what are you guys doing in your LCs in order to have people reach out to their friends, but also most importantly, set those deadlines with friends and IXP in order to do that? The second thing is to focus on conversion. So first question that I have for everyone is how can you create a sense of urgency for your EPs? So I need a couple people to answer that in the live chat box. Yes, yes. Awesome, guys. Using deadlines for this and working in those short-term deadlines so that your EP managers know if I'm an EP manager and I need to approve 5 EPs in the month of March, I know that my deadline is to do that during week 3 of March, for example, that they all of my EPs that I'm currently managing, it has to be happening that way. And you can also work into your LC campaign to be doing that and also communicating with LCs. I like what Davi's saying right now of having a 5-day deadline from the moment they apply to make payment so that they recognize actually how competitive this is. I think that's something really important for LCs that believe or think that the product isn't competitive enough. An easy way to make it competitive is immediately assign those deadlines. That's something that jobs do when people are applying. They say, okay, you have a deadline to apply, and there's a deadline that you need to make this decision as well too. Sean said, projects with limited spots. You should let them know that there's limited spots and that after they get their acceptance, that there's a time that they could get approved. Tell them if you're not approved within 5 days, then the opportunity manager has the right to remove their acceptance. Show the opportunities that only have a few opportunities or that only have a few openings for each start time. Rejecting EPs actually makes other EPs and people in the pipeline respect the organization more and value the product. Yes. Okay, cool. Say that there's a certain number of opportunity openings for this position. Awesome. That's amazing. So in the way that you're communicating and selling to your customers, but also them recognizing the competitiveness of the product and how important it is for March. The other big thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is the sooner they get approved, kind of the better their experience is going to be before they actually go abroad. So if you have EPs that are realizing in March or June or July, then it's more of a time for them to prepare for their experience. Flights are cheaper at this time. You should say that, okay, make your OPS for the end of March. So all the EPs that are approved, they would know that they have to already attend their outgoing preparation seminar at the end of the month. And that's already an attractive way for them to recognize that the product will be better for them. A sales thing that you can say as well that Davi said is there are thousands of people all over the world that are possibly applying for the same position. It will only be yours at the moment you pay. Beautiful. Okay, second question that I have for everyone, how to improve your conversions. How can you involve your IR partner into your oGV teams so that they will accept your EPs when you need them to accept them within 48 hours? Let's see what everyone says. Yes, Skype them into LCMs, Skype them into the FTMs. Have the members, especially of the oGV teams, know the names of all of the people that they're working with, that they're sending them abroad to. That's awesome. Paired the EP manager with an IGV member for faster communication. Awesome. Yes, follow them on Snapchat. That's a really, really good idea. As we are working with millennials, have all the IGV and oGV members be friends with each other on Snapchat. So if they don't respond to the WhatsApp message, they will be on probably Snapchat. Yes, IR partners Skype into info sessions, and especially maybe these info sessions and spaces that you have for EPs to apply, your IR partners should already be there so they can already start to know what is this experience going to look like for them. Okay, awesome. Moving to the third and final question for how to improve your conversion. What are the things that you guys are going to focus on or that you have done already or that you're thinking of doing or you have as an idea of how you can approve your EP in under 7 days from the point that they apply? So we've talked a lot about deadlines. We've talked a lot about how you work with IR, but what are some of the other things that you can do so that you communicate with them that they need to apply in under 7 days if there isn't something that's already been said? Okay, so just to review on some of the things that we already talked about for improved conversions, it's all about creating a sense of urgency for EPs. Oh, okay, I like what Davi just said right now. Have the customer flow presented clearly for the EPs and sales tactics. So they need to recognize from the moment they're applying or from the moment that you're talking to them on how fast they need to be moving. Colorado says, Braden says, we've had some success in changing the name of info session to guidance space. Yes, that's good. I know some LCs that call it a consultancy space. Keep changing it. Try the different things that are going to be working to evolve your marketing and improving the way that you can be working with customers. Okay, awesome. So the second thing, remember, improved conversions, looking at how you can create a sense of urgency, work with your IR partner, and focus on improving EPs in under 7 days. So all of your EP managers need to know these are the amount of EPs that I have, this is when they applied, and how can I approve them as soon as possible. Okay, third thing is we need higher productivity. Now, this is the month that you have that all members have joined, all members have attended Rocks. This is a month that you need to focus on how can you have highest productivity. And productivity looks at a couple of things. What's the average number of exchanges that every member is doing, but then also looking at how can you create a member that literally approves 10 EPs in 1 month. So looking at the average and then also the top number of exchanges that one member is capable of doing. First question, what local campaigns can you create for March as the month? Yes, good idea. Setting a growth goal for March of last year, and this needs to be communicated with the whole oGV team or the whole LC, especially if your LC is oGV focused. So they need to know this is what we did last year. This is growth. I think something that members really respond to is recognizing not just getting results, but how important growth is in terms of maybe being relevant to your community. So they do need to recognize what's the growth that is needed in order to become more relevant in your community and so on. Okay, doing an intern abroad fair, that is just ISIC. Remember to look at what are the internal local campaigns that you can be doing in order to increase your productivity. What are some of the other things that you guys have planned or are now thinking about doing in order to have a local campaign so that everyone in your LC knows that March is the month for your LC? I'm waiting for a couple more people and LCs to answer. Okay, so Sean gave the idea of setting a growth goal for March of last year so that people know how much you're growing. Another thing that you should do is to literally present the goal of what oGV, how many oGV approvals and applicants you need. Then something you should be doing is saying, for example, we have 30 more days until the month is over. So keeping a scoreboard. People are also able to see how many you have to go, what percent you are at of achieving your goal. All of these things are the kind of daily and weekly things that you can be doing to engage your LC. People will not reach the goal if they don't know what the goal is and if they don't know their percent of achieving it or their contribution towards achieving it as well too. Second thing, how can you showcase oGV member performance? Let's have some ideas for that. Okay, awesome. Chapel Hill says internally doing a March Madness scoreboard. Maybe some more details with that if you don't mind sharing more too. Yes, newsletter every week with the scoreboard of member of the week. Awesome. Look at all your different internal communication channels. Also, keeping track of marketing activity per member. This is awesome. Looking at the individual performance things that every single person is doing, and then also looking to see at what results that they equal. Which members get the most DPs from applied to approved. Perfect. Using R&R to make sure to include actual numerical achievements. This is how many applications or hours of tabling. Yes, you should be putting in place a rewards and recognition system, whether it be intrinsic or extrinsic incentives. Look at what can your LC do in order to send people abroad on exchange if they reach their performance goal, or what are the other kinds of ways that you can recognize members. Colorado has a Slack channel for EP excitement and also countdown for our regional goal. That's beautiful. Awesome. Okay, the third and final question, how can you keep your team accountable to their goals? So look at it this way. What are the ways that, for the LCPs that are here, what are the ways that you can manage oGV, and VPs, the ways that you can manage oGV in order to make sure that your teams are super accountable and are aware of what they need to do? Yes, individual scoreboards. Yes, at ROX, every member did, as I was saying before, commit a certain number of approvals. This is something that you need to hold them accountable to. But then also looking at making sure that you're congratulating them for every step of the way of those things that you're doing. People who perform are people who are consistently congratulated even for the small successes. That's really important for the new members that you have. If you give a small shout out for the small thing that they did at the beginning, then they will keep performing because they know that they're doing something good and successful. Okay, tracking channel so that people are marked in green if they perform and red if they are not. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So micro tracking if you need cultural changes, hourly check-ins, hourly deadlines. Awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, so keeping in mind the things that we said, you need to be focused on better marketing, improving your conversion, and higher productivity. If you can master this, this is your biggest focus for March, then you guys will be reaching the goals for March and already setting in place the things that y'all need to be doing for the summer. Awesome. So now let's talk about March is the month. I'm really, really excited for all the things that are going to be happening in March. This is the most important month that you have of your entire term. This is the month that you're going to be looking back on and being like, holy shit, it's because of this month that I made happen. We were able to achieve our goal. This is the point that you need to like make your LC create a movement around oGV. This is the month that this month will determine whether or not we will be breaking 1,000 exchanges as an entity. This is the month that we would be doing that. So certain things that you can be expecting. There's going to be a lot of really exciting things coming out, but things that you can expect. A lot of the internal communication and things that are going to be happening will be both through the MC Facebook page and then also in the oGV group that we have created today. If you have not already added your members to it, do that, because it's going to be the way that myself and the national team communicates with the entire oGV network, and we're going to be doing some really exciting things through there. First thing is we're going to have a lot of GCP sharing. So this is going to be a space not just for the big things, but the small growth hacking things that you can be doing in order to improve things within your LC in terms of the product or in terms of the process or what you can be doing with the market. The second thing that we're going to be having is EP Manager showcasing weekly. So your members, even the newest member, will be showcased for the things that you're doing. I'll be every single approval that happens, I always look at what's the member that did this to make that happen. We're now going to have a look over so that we can actually showcase who are the members that are contributing the most to approvals nationally. They'll get a special shout out from me. I'll send them a video, all of these really exciting things. We will be showcasing LCs that jumping tiers. I'm super excited because this month, most LCs have it planned that this is the month that they're going to be jumping tiers. So we're going to be showcasing that. And then the final thing is also performance tracking. So as we've done with a lot of other months, we will be showcasing the activities that happen in order to increase results. So it's really important that you have a space in there. If you guys have any other recommendations or exciting things, please just reach out to me. And I'm happy to do anything you guys need in order to make March the month for your LC. The final thing that I'd like everyone to do, if you're a VP or if you're for VPs that are on this call, go to this bit.ly oGV network evaluation. These are really, really important evaluations. We did it for January and it informed us a lot on things that we need to move forward. So make sure you just select that you're doing the monthly evaluation for February so that we can think of what are the better ways that we can be supporting you in terms of tools that we're creating, materials that we're creating, campaigns that we're creating, and so on. So make sure that you go ahead and fill that out. So the way that I'm going to end the call is I would like everyone to say in the chat box, I'm going to make March the month by having insert goal for my LC. So say, I'm going to make March the month by having 100 approvals this month for my LC. But with your actual goal. Yes, Milwaukee's going to do 10. Also, low-key wants 25. Milwaukee, if you get like a couple more, you're breaking into tier 2. So I'm watching you guys. Yes, me and my team are going to make March the month by 27 oGV approvals. You'll get into tier 3 by that. Yay. 15 oGV for Georgia Tech. 30 for Miami. 23 for Dallas. Getting into tier 2 for Colorado. 20 for Chapel Hill. Woo! My body is ready. Woo! Woo! Mizzou's doing 10. Woo! Yes. Seattle's doing 20. Woo! Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for everyone that joined the call. It's been really exciting to interact with you all through this live chat and to hear all the amazing things that you guys are going to do for your LC. So thank you very much. If anyone has any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help you all in order to make March your month. Let's do this. Woo!